Yeah, that sounds fine. But what if I supply the lube? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it's Wolf Johnson back again with another video. Today, I'm going to check out Deep Conversations by this artist named Khary. Khary? Khary. Of this 4:3 resolution. 3:4? 4:3?
I'll be okay if you say so. Wanna get laid, get paid, Jeff Bezos. Honestly, I don't know what to do with all the money, but the world's full of dummies. What the fuck we going to space for? Are we in a simulation? We'll probably be human beings diluted and measured by the economy. Institutions polluting and barely offer apologies. Honestly, it's just one big economy. Wait, is this too deep for a party? I'm talking too much, girl, I'm sorry, but it can't just be the Bacardi. I usually don't smoke like a Marley. I think I feel the drugs. I think I took too much. I took shrooms, got a lot on my head. If I'm being honest, I don't really feel nothing. Spoke too soon, I forget what I said. Some says you want a nice life. Do you know the price might mean somebody gotta get the water from the mud? Welcome to the site,
That's
guys.
so good.
That was a nice try. How we all pretend that we really give a fuck. Wait, is this too deep for a party? I'm talking too much, girl, I'm sorry, but it can't just be the Bacardi. I usually don't smoke like a Marley. I think I feel the drugs. I think I took too much.
This is a cool video. It's so simple. Very DIY. That's cool. That is really cool. There's something, here, let's hop into this here. So much of this reminds me of Kid Cudi. And I'm not saying that it's like an objective thing. Subjectively, this sound gives me the same kind of feeling I have within myself around the time when Kid Cudi came out with that, what's the name of the album? Man on the Moon? Something like that, Man on the Moon or whatever. Something about a moon, and I think there's a man in the title. It's got Day and Night. It's got Pursuit of Happiness. There's a lot of good stuff on there, but I remember the first time hearing that, it was a huge departure from what the bulk of hip hop was putting out. There was around that time, maybe I got the timeline off a little bit. It was around 2009, I think. I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure Tyler, the Creator, Odd Future was coming out and stuff like that. This might precede Odd Future a little bit. I honestly can't remember. But whatever there was a lot of like machismo and swag and aggression in hip hop at the time. And Kid Cudi came out, and I was not aware, and I still don't know if there was a genre of that type of hip hop that almost like is very introspective, somewhat dissociated in its production. It had a lot of reverb, a lot of space, and he did a great job at isolating the listener within his thoughts. That almost felt like if you were in the same space, that they could be your thoughts, because they weren't so definitive. They were kind of ambiguous, which allows interpretation and invites the listener into that space. This is kind of the same feeling for me. And I think it's true for some of those things. Like there's He's doing a good job at these lyrics. There's enough space around even meaning with production in a second that it's easy for me to be invited into the context to ascribe it to my own experience. And part of that comes with a level of dissociation that I feel like I have a lot of the time in this contemporary society. Again, this is another song. Last week we were listening to Skinner Brothers, Bad Brains, and they are, in that song, they didn't overdefine anything. They left room for interpretation and space, and that is very inviting. So lyrically here, the function works very well, and the form works well with the production. Like, it's very catchy, it's simple. Like, I don't know that this is going to incite or appeal to somebody who's a hardcore lyricist, but I think it's a very, very narrow lens to look at the totality of a song through whether or not the lyrics are great. Because then you can start chopping everything up, and that's not the intention. Like, that's not what the work is supposed to be. You know, maybe it is, but for some people, but I think when you're putting a song together, there's a lot of consideration putting into the beat, the production, and the finite details as well. The lyrics, the hook, everything like that. The music video, it's intended to be consumed as a whole. So you're going to get a sandwich. You're not going to deconstruct it and then grade the sandwich based on the meat. I mean, you could do that, but that's not really the sandwich. And that wouldn't really be the song if I just broke this down to the lyrics. That to say, I think these are good lyrics. He's communicating effectively what he's feeling. I think one of the major drawbacks of contemporary YouTube era hip hop, and I say drawback, and I only mean that from the consumer side, the listener, is that they can be too technical. And that doesn't mean it's a bad song. But I think because the bar of technicality has been raised so hard, a lot of artists, it seems, they feel compelled to keep outdoing each other with the technicalities. And don't get me wrong, I like a good lyrical flex. It's impressive, especially if you could fit it into that pocket. But you run the risk of losing your message, diluting your message, and losing the audience. And if you look back at like the battles with Jay-Z and Nas, like a lot of people like that track Takeover by Jay-Z, or the one with the 5-to-1 sample by The Doors. They think that's a banger. Lyrically, it's barely anything. It's nothing. But what he's communicating, again, he's economical with what he's saying. There is no filler. Punchline, bars, just right to the core of the expression, the attitude. But if you ask a lyricist, Nas destroyed Jay-Z. I would say that. And I like Ether, to be honest. But academically, I do think Nas wiped the floor with Jay-Z. I just don't. I think it's hard to argue that. If you're stacking, if you're marking points, right? But a lot of people aren't marking points. They're just consuming it. And so your job as the MC, the master of ceremonies, is to effectively communicate to that listener as effectively as you can the message in its purest form. And sometimes stacking bars upon bars upon bars can like desaturate the core of the message. And it's cool. It's cool to have a puzzle to unpack. It's cool if that audience you're targeting is that hip hop head who's tuned into those bars. But for me, I don't always want that. I'm not always looking to be like tuned in. I like this. I could throw this on. I could chill out, you know, however one chills out, you know what I mean, and get lost in this and simultaneously be lost in my own thoughts. More challenging lyrically rap makes it a little bit difficult to do that, I think, at least for me. The production in this is so cool. There's like a genre blend. And I think that's what I like about this so much is it's for me, if I'm listening to it, it fuses hip hop and almost like pop punk. I like that with the instrumental. I'm guessing it was just a live band recording this. A live band recording the samples. Samples given to a producer, mixed together. That's what I mean. But listen to the instruments in the back, like the guitar. Like this is sort of what I mean with that Kid Cudi stuff, is that the production has almost like a three-dimensional audio space. It's very dynamic. So the lyrics are only a part of the experience, but the instrumental, for me at least, becomes an environment of consciousness where when I'm dissociated, I have a similar thing, like background noise sort of fades out and diffuses, becomes reverby, and everything more prevalent has like a place for a particular reason, whatever's catching my attention the most. But like this kind of production where you're intentionally like desaturating some of the other instruments becomes for me a lot more immersive. And maybe it's a thing to do with dissociation. I have like severe dissociation all the time.
I'll be okay if you say so. Wanna get laid, get paid, Jeff Bezos. Honestly, I don't know what to do with all the money, but the world's full of dummies. What the fuck we going to space for? Are we in a simulation? We'll probably be human beings diluted and measured by the economy. Institutions polluting and barely offer apologies. Honestly, it's just one big economy. Wait, is this too deep for a party? I'm talking too much, girl. Too deep for is this too deep?
This build to the hook is so good.
Too much, girl, I'm sorry.
Listen, in the background,
it can't just be the
there's like a tension. There's a dichotomy. So good. Like how he's dipping between this build of tension in the distance, like almost symbolizing like frustration and then release, frustration and then release. It never quite explodes like you might find in a metal song where it's a build, explosion. This is like tension, release. And I don't know if you can hear it. You have to listen. You might need headphones. I don't know if it picks up through like computer speakers or anything like that. This build here.
Really feel nothing. Spoke too soon. I forget what I said. Some says you want a nice life. Do you know the price might mean somebody gotta get the
that's so pop punk.
Welcome to the zeitgeist. So that was a nice try. How we all pretend that we really give a fuck. Wait, is this too deep for a party?
Listen
I'm talking too much, girl. I'm sorry, but it can't just be the Bacardi. I usually don't smoke like a Marley.
Calms down.
I think I feel the drugs. I think I took too much.
All it takes for an interesting music video is a cool prop. I don't know. I like it. Tell me what you think. You mess with that? Do you get Kid Cudi vibes? What kind of vibes do you get? Point me to your nearest signpost. Let me go find the other artists who might occupy that space. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. Go follow Khary on YouTube, Instagram, whatever. I'll put the links in the description below. And if you like this, you know, you can hit the sub too. Be my sub. Peace.